Before we begin the show, Greg and I want to extend our warmest welcome and thanks to the newest sponsor of Straight Down the Middle of Pinball Show, and that is Pin Graphics. Joe at Pin Graphics is a terrific guy. He's got a great team over there creating some of the coolest technology and modification in pinball machines. He's got these things called power blades that are essentially side art decals, but they light up behind them. They're really easy to install. I'm going to be throwing a set into a Lord of the Rings here soon. We'll get a video of that. He's also got things like just you pick a game, he's got side decal inner art blades for them. They're high quality, easy to install. We just love them. Metallica, he's got that wrapping 3D snake mod that goes up the right ramp, as well as the fangs, the mouth decal kit. He's got blade skins. Those are side decal art blades, inner art blades, but they have mirroring effects on them. How badass is that? So check out pingraphics.com. We're going to be showing off a lot of his products in the coming episodes. But until then, thanks again, Joe. Welcome to Straight Down the Middle of Pinball Show. The wait is over. A revolution in LED lighting for your pinball is finally here. Fully customizable, full spectrum lighting from Pin Stadium Lights. Order yours now at pinstadium.com.
You hit it off with the bumper, now you're straight down the middle again. You had a fling with a slingshot, you're rolling out the alley again. I tried to cradle you with my flipper, it was all in vain.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm here today with Jason, aka Hougie on Pin side, and he was kind enough to invite us in and allow us to do a collector's interview and stuff, and we reached out to him. So let's get it kicked off, Jason. First and foremost, it's always the very first question. What got you into pinball?
What got me into pinball? We were going over to a friend's house, and they had a Champion pub in the basement. And, you know, my wife and I really weren't pinball people. I'm a video game person, music person, you know, I like tinkering. But anyway, we played their game and just thought, man, it would be so great to have one game, you know, one pinball machine. That would be amazing. So anyway, I called around and found out they were exorbitantly expensive. I found, you know, of course. And,
how long ago was this?
Oh gosh, what, like 6 years now, maybe?
So pin prices were still a lot better than they are today. Yeah.
Crazy better. But no, first one was a Stargate, and I bought it as a project from the Treasure Cove guys. I called them and said, you know, we really like Tales of the Arabian Nights. That's such a cool game. And I talked to Alan, and he said, yeah, that one starts out about $7,000. So you know, I thought, well, we'll never have a pinball machine. But I asked what else they had, and he had a junked out Stargate that he said they didn't have any plans on fixing. So
yeah, I'll take it.
I bought it pretty cheap, and it did nothing. So that was a huge project. I knew nothing about fixing them, so that was my first game and how I got started.
Man, all of that Champions Pub. Do you still like Champions Pub, or are you like?
I do.
It's gimmicky, but I still like it.
It's gimmicky. I think I like it enough to play it anytime we go over to their house. I don't know if I'd want to own one. You know? And he and I may trade someday. You know, and just for temporarily. And he wants to play my Tron pretty badly, so maybe I'll.
And I don't blame him. You guys will see it. It's seriously one of the most beautiful pros I've seen for sure. So how many? What's the current count in your collection? Do you know?
Oh, current count. I think I'd have to look. I think it's 10 right now, maybe 1, 2, 3. 6, 7, and 9. I have 9 right here.
And I'll tell you what, like that 9 pin. It doesn't seem like a lot, but Jason seriously has. He runs the gamut. He's got EM, solid state, Stearns. You got the start. You got the Bally Williams, and then you've got like you literally run.
Yeah, it's quite a. It's current down to
System
70s.
11.
Yeah,
like
System
you
11.
You got literally everything, so you it's like a little pinball museum.
I have one from every decade at least right now. So
that's so awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
So what pins have you? Because you kind of like you don't cycle through them a lot, but in 6 years you can go through quite a few pins.
Well, okay, the ones I've owned, I have the current lineup back here. You know, I have Tron, Metallica, Whitewater. Let's see. Rob Zombie, I have Stargate, Centaur Taxi, Shadow, and Quick Draw. The other ones I've had Lord of the Rings. That was the longest running game. I had that
with due reason.
Due reason, it's amazing. It's really great. I finally traded it off. Lord of the Rings, Bram Stoker's Dracula. I dearly miss that one. I've had Adams. I had, let's see, Iron Man, Spider-Man. Trying to think about missing something. Game of Thrones, loved it too. I think those are the only other ones I've had that I could think off the top. I'm probably missing something.
Out of all those pins, which one do you regret the most getting rid of?
Oh, I regret the most. Well, regret's a weird thing. The ones I miss the most by a lot. Bram Stoker's I loved. It was awesome.
That's what I hear from
So
everybody.
hard, so hard, but so awesome.
Yeah, that's what because it's just multi-ball, and that's the only thing you're trying to achieve, basically.
Yeah, and that 30 million.
Yeah, and I just feel like, man, am I going to get tired of it? But literally everybody says I miss that game when I get rid of it. I've owned it 2 or 3 times. I hate getting.
Yeah. I will own it again.
I might have to buy it.
I traded it for my Game of Thrones, and I didn't regret that. Game of Thrones is awesome.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
Did you get a pro or
I had a pro.
Pro.
I had a pro.
I like pro.
Traded mine to Trent, and he wanted a nicer Dracula than he had, so he traded me and gave me a good deal.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, man. If I can get another one, I'm gonna get another one.
What pen did you own the long? Was it the Lord of the Rings that you owned the
Yeah,
longest?
that was the second game that I purchased. The Stargate, actually, I traded it for a Whirlwind for a while. And, not for a while. I traded it for a Whirlwind, and I found another one. Tony Hunton down in Jeff, he had one, and I didn't really want to mess with it, and I bought it. It was a little bit of a project. And, let's see. So Lord of the Rings I bought that same summer. We bought our first pin, and so I've had it, the entire run. I just got rid of it.
Yeah, I remember when you had it up for sale. I'd looked at it, but my finances, that game skyrocketed.
Yeah, it jumped a lot.
I know.
It jumped a lot.
So, out of your current lineup,
Yeah.
what games have been here the longest out of current?
Current lineup. Well, really, I guess Metallica and Stargate. Metallica and Stargate are the two that have been around the longest. Tron I traded away. That was for the Dracula, and a guy hit me up and asked if I would sell it, based off of pictures on Pinside. And I said, no, man, I play it every single day. And he said, well, what if I shot you a crazy price? And I was like, sure. So I wound up meeting him that Friday.
That's what happens. But if there's one thing I've learned, it's like, it's seriously, it's like, you don't get rid of a game.
No,
it's
no,
almost
no.
so hard. It's like, you get kind of tired of it, but.
Well, and that exact same Tron came back to me.
Oh, so it's the same one?
Yeah, that's the same one. That guy traded it away, and a guy in Indianapolis had it, and I saw it pop up for sale, and I thought I recognized his name, his inside name.
Yeah.
It was my Tron. So I traded my Game of Thrones and got it back.
Oh my god,
it's
man.
never leaving again.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's for sure. So with the number of pins you have now, are you at the point of where that like a pin doesn't get old because you've got enough to play, or do some of them still kind of get like,
Well, that's the spot I'm in now. I'm talked about trading a lot. I hate getting rid of games, but generally speaking, trading to get one that I like a little better is okay.
Yeah.
You can only keep so many of them. But yeah, I'm at the spot now that there's so much variety. I really love that variety, and the games I have, I really like.
Yeah, I love every one of them. There's not one of them.
None of them are stinkers.
No,
and I'm not bragging.
Even Centaur, man. Like I like Centaur. It's fun.
It's awesome. And if I had to get rid of one, I just don't know what I would right now. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
I've even said, Metallica might. And I'm thinking, every time I turn it on, I have a blast.
Yeah.
Like that'd be stupid. I would really miss that one.
Well, it's kind of got everything that you. To me, it's kind of got everything you want in a game. It's a good shot game.
Yeah.
You can put a little bit of flow to it. A lot of people, it's so repetitive. It's chopping wood, but it's still there's something fun. There's enough shots in it and enough things going on that. I don't think it is.
No, some of the things never get old. One thing I love about Metallica is when you build up it's like your progress toward the crank it ups.
Yeah.
When you shoot a ramp and then you hit the associated shots and that ramp is lit solid, you're getting all those what do you call it? It's like it's getting you the snake hit.
Yeah, the 15 hit. Yeah, it'd be different.
Amazing.
It is because because to me it would be repetitive and it'd be bad if you just had to hit Sparky or you just had to hit the snake. But the fact that you can light the ramps and hit different shots to accumulate what you need to progress, that adds some interest to it because then it opens up all the other shots that you have.
Well, and I'm not the world's best or worst player, but people talk about the only way to play that game is to bash Sparky. That's stupid.
No, there's a lot.
Not it at all. Like my biggest score is almost 600 million.
Oh,
I haven't made
God.
I haven't made it to end the line yet. But I I beat the heck out of it.
That's pretty damn good.
That's a high score. But anyway, I made it to the third crank it up, and this is on 3-ball. And anyway, man, it's so fun. It's so fun.
Yeah.
I love that fuel shot. You hit the ramp and drill the fuel shot, hit the scoop.
Yep.
That's
I like
that's
it a
a
lot.
rush every time.
That scoop's a little tough sometimes, man.
It's hard.
It's there, but it can be when you needed it. It's like
It's difficult.
Keeps rejecting me. Let me in.
It's like that left. People talk about how tough Rob Zombie is, which it is.
Yeah.
But the left loop or left, what do you call that? The outer. Outer lane.
Yeah.
Loop. Anyway, that you have to hit that to start on the modes, and it's such a hard shot. It doesn't feel good.
Now you told me. Okay. So
Once
speaking
you
of
get used to it, it's
speaking
fine.
of Rob Zombie, so you
Okay,
said
yeah.
so the left. A lot of people have a problem.
Oh,
with.
yeah.
But you said you've kind of gotten accustomed to the left, and the
left is
right
fine.
can sometimes
Yeah.
mess you up.
Yes, that right. Right orbit is super hard. Just last night I was playing American Witch, and you have to shoot the left orbit 3 times, the center, the ramp, which is easy, and then shoot that right orbit. And man, it's just every time.
You still liking it though?
Oh yeah, I love it. It's a blast.
How's that update? Because we talked in one of our old videos about that. The update came out, but I didn't know a lot about it, and I know you had it and everything.
Yeah.
Is there anything in your mind that stood out the most that you remember difference?
Yeah, the lights are the lighting's a little different.
Oh, so it changed the lighting?
Yeah, it changed a little bit of lighting. I like the modes. The modes, they tweaked a lot of little things. What is where you get up on the upper play field and you have to bat the ball back around, hit Spalding several times. Well, you would go through and I don't know how many shots. Let's say it's 12 shots. You hit the 11th shot and you drain. You have to start it all over again.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
that
driving
was
me
a
crazy.
big complaint.
Such a frustration. So now, once you get to those last few shots, I think that's where you start when you get back up there.
Oh, that's nice.
They changed some of the call-outs, and I'm weird about that. Like, I liked some of the things before better. It's silly stuff. And
It'd be nice to be able to go into some code stuff and click what you want to change.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
almost do your own code and then download that and put it into a pin.
Well, which is like the way that Pinball browser, you can do that with.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. The Stern games. I took out all the bad language in one of my friend's Star Treks.
Yeah.
He didn't like the quotes with
Damn it, Jim.
Anyway, he just didn't like it. So he asked me, and I've changed the songs in Metallica.
Yeah.
It wasn't that hard. I had to find the quotes he didn't like and just insert a different one in there. And but no, with Rob Zombie, I don't know if the code's like that. But no, I'm happy with everything they did.
Yeah.
It was already a keeper, but it's way bigger now.
Also, it's a keeper for that.
I think it's a keeper.
I think it's probably just tough enough, ain't it? Like to get you.
It's hard. Well, I'll tell you, I traded Iron Man for it. And
Oh.
Iron Man's a butt kicker, man. That is such a hard game. But Iron Man, I've talked about this before. To me, it lacks a little bit of personality.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. I think about the Iron Man movies. Tony Stark is such a big personality. Like it's so, he's obnoxious. And I like him.
None of that's in the pin.
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. It feels a little bit. It feels a little bit distant from the theme in that way. Now I will say the sounds are awesome.
Yeah.
They totally rock. But it gets a little bit repetitive, I think. And I enjoyed Iron Man. I played it all the time.
Well, that's kind of what some of the complaints that I've heard against Star Wars too.
Yep.
Was that it just doesn't. Star Wars, it's not as bad looking in person. It's actually kind of pretty.
Yeah.
But that it doesn't encase Star Wars. Like when you play it, you don't feel Star Wars. It doesn't, even with the LCDs and the movie screenshots and everything, it just still something just doesn't pull you in. And I hate that about a game.
I know.
I think that pulls me into a pin because I think that even though most people hate Ghostbusters, that's one of the things I enjoy most about Ghostbusters is it feels like the movie. Yeah, they nailed the theme.
Lord of the Rings is like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Like when Gimli's screaming, jackpot and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And Gandalf is saying, "You shall not pass," and the whole machine feels like it's going to explode.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. They nailed the Lord of the Rings theme.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And I'll tell you a revelation that I had the other day, and tell me if you agree with this.
Okay.
Do you watch Game of Thrones?
Oh,
like
love
the show?
it.
Okay.
Love it.
So I always looked at the pin and I was like, they did the most terrible job in the world encasing this show. Like the playfield is so stripped down and everything. But then I was watching the opening credits.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
the playfield and everything feels like the opening credits.
Absolutely.
Everything kind of feels like the opening credits. And that's kind of weird that it doesn't encompass the show.
Yeah,
but
how could it too? You know, in
yeah,
a way,
it's kind of
tough.
It is. You'd almost have to have a Lord of the Rings type feel to the game in a sense,
Right.
But
And I'll say this too about Game of Thrones. I loved it. Thought it was great. I love the Hound's call-outs. They're rocking.
Yes.
They're great. I do wish there was a little bit more personality from more of the characters.
I agree. There's not a lot.
Not a lot.
Blackwater multi-ball. Like, that's one of the best call-outs in pinball, I
Yeah, it's
think.
so great.
But
Yeah, gives you chills. But
yeah, no.
I
My
don't
kids used to quote it like when
Really?
I'd
That's
take them
nice.
over to Z-Bar we'd play, and like my little one would quote. She's like 3 years old. At the time she's like Blackwater multi-ball, and she just loved it.
my son used to quote the Ents in Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
What'd they say? I can't remember the quote, but he'd be playing over on the train table and he'd go, ba, 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 ba. It was whatever shot. It was, I think, well, I'll tell you what it was. It was the Saruman.
That'll make you proud.
When
Be
the
like,
Ents are yeah, you're like, that's great.
I've achieved this. So out of all the pins, because you've owned some good pins, Adam's
yeah.
Family, Spider-Man, all that stuff. Is there a pin that you have not owned that you want to own that you're just like, man, I just haven't picked it up. I haven't found one.
Yeah, there's a couple.
There's
a couple. Tales of the Arabian Nights is one that
elusive.
I still elusive.
Yeah.
Now, if I wanted to buy a high-end restored one,
Yeah.
I've talked about this too. I like to buy project games. I like to buy routed games that are even broken.
Yeah.
Get a good discount, but then plug in money and time and fix them up. I like that kind of a deal. So I'd love to find a Project Tales someday.
Yeah.
If I could.
Which is kind of hard because people know the money to be made, so they grab
Right.
them and they fix them up
the
themselves, or
problem.
somebody snatches them up
Right.
just for resale, and they'll
I know.
fix them up, and
Yep.
that sucks, man.
I know. Well, I've heard it from. I was talking to Ray from Treasure Cove one day, and he said that we were talking about Taxi for that matter, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, those games aren't worth crap." They're not in comparison to that.
Yeah.
When you can fix up, say he got a Tails for a couple of grand from some route
Yeah.
operator, and then they sell it for $7.
Yeah.
Well, that's a huge profit margin.
It is.
And on a System 11 top end, you're topping out pretty early.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
comparison. So I get it.
Yeah.
I just really one day, if I can find that unicorn.
That's the one.
And it's not a deep game. It's such a beautiful game, though, and I love the sounds.
It is really
it's
pretty.
just- they nailed the theme on that one.
Yeah, they really did.
That's one I'd really love to have. And there are tons of others, man. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Walking Dead. I'd like to own a Walking Dead.
Oh, you haven't
someday.
owned a Walking
I haven't
Dead?
owned-
Of
I
all
haven't-
games?
It's been so close a couple of times.
Oh man.
I could have had a nice one for my Lord of the Rings, but I wound up with that Whitewater and a Project Shadow. You can't beat
for
that.
the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't beat it at all. Because
Anyway.
you'll see it up close. It is that Whitewater is gorgeous, man. It is so pretty. So speaking of fixing stuff up, so
Yeah.
your Shadow was a project
Oh,
game.
it was huge. Shadow, my gosh, it was awful. All the boards were missing. What it was is that one had been parted.
Oh,
So they took
man.
everything off of it. I mean, it was missing the gun handle. It was missing the ramps. Looked like they lived in the ocean. Seriously, I polished them all. I sent them off. I had them plated, so the ramps look awesome now. But the play field was really nice. There's you see horrible wear spots on the Sanctum or whatever it's Sanctum. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And anyway, right there you can see a little bit of a divot, a little bit of a wear spot, but it's not completely down to wood. It's just a little dark.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. So actually, that was nice. It was missing the speaker display panel, like the wood and all that stuff. I got let's see. I got a whole bunch of stuff. I ordered some stuff from Arakasun or something. I don't know his entire name, but this guy from Bulgaria.
Oh, man.
I know. So he's on Pinside and he sells parts, and they were fine. One of them hung out in customs for like an entire month, but some of those
That
parts.
suck. You're just like,
it
oh
is.
my god,
It's
we'll get my
driving me
game
crazy.
together.
I called the USPS. I'm like, what can I do? And they're just like, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. It was like the power box or something that you couldn't buy anywhere else. I was about to just have to make a new one myself. But that was a big project. But
That's
now,
basically like an entire rebuild.
it was an entire rebuild. I mean, it had everything, but a lot of things were broken.
But I talked to a collector one time. I said, what do you look for in a game? He goes, I don't care about anything else except for the playfield. Because everything else can honestly be fairly easily redone.
It really can.
So it's just, I look at the playfield as my number one thing and then
Yeah.
go from there.
And if it's a big deal to you, the plastics too, knowing whether or not they're
Yeah.
available. Like BSD, that game had a broken slingshot, and I thought, no big deal. Well,
Yeah.
Turns out you can't buy the plastics anywhere. Brian Kelly redid some.
Is that the ones with like Winona Ryder's face? Is that
Yeah,
the one?
well,
that-
it had those too. But anyway, I bought a repro plastic set and swapped out a bunch on Dracula.
Yeah,
But
and it's a
was
toss up
fun.
on those of what you get because some are
Oh, yeah.
good and then some just aren't
Yeah,
done real
so
well.
that was, and
depending on-
that was it. I bought some I bought some online and they'd done just the slingshots, but they didn't match the. I'm weird about that. I can't. It was like they were darker than the rest of the plastics. Like the
Yeah.
blues didn't match everything else.
I hate- yeah.
So silly, but it drove me nuts.
No, I'd be anal
And,
about it too.
Yeah, it kind of drove me crazy.
So what? Do you have anything else that you had that you kind of was a project?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Was all of?
So, yeah, I was gonna say everything in here is either a project or it came. I traded a project game. I fixed a project game, sold
To
it
get it.
to get it. Taxi came in a box,
Oh,
like not the cabinet box.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, all the ramps and stuff were all in bags and boxes.
somebody just get tired of like just they were gonna do something with it and
Yeah,
then just didn't.
It was a guy in Sellersburg, Robert Cecil. He had it, and he put it up for sale in Pinside. Hit him up and said, "Oh man, I'm dying to see it." And anyway, we talked about it for a little bit. And it was all in a box. And some of the stuff I've gotten from other people that, fixing stuff for them and
Yeah.
favors and things. But yeah, Centaur was rough. It had dirt dauber nests in it, and the boards were all bad.
So it was like a garage find.
Garage Find kind of. Stargate had a bad soundboard and some other stuff was missing and broken. It was hard to fix that.
And that Stargate is
Yeah.
really clean. It
Yeah,
is a
it's really
nice
nice.
play field.
Yeah, and like I said, the other games, pretty much all of them are. I don't know, just I traded a project to get them.
Yeah.
Like Lord of the Rings even was a routed game that was in rough shape.
Well, that makes the hobby somewhat affordable because
Yeah,
hell,
it
if you
does.
were to go out and buy, because it's a good collection.
Yeah.
It would be it'd be a lot of money to,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
if
Yeah.
you didn't work your way up.
Honestly, I couldn't see how I would have done that. I wouldn't have been able to afford them. Yeah, it's just buying a game that's broken, and that's part of it too. It's kind of silly, but I love the repair part too.
Yeah.
I mean, fixing a game that's not working, I get all excited and get my tools all out and my soldering iron and
Yeah.
go after it. It drives me nuts if it's not working correctly.
Yeah.
But shoot,
Oh,
you know.
it's nice to have that skill, man. Because I'm I've got very very limited skills, but like just even LED in a game or something, I love tinkering
Yeah.
and messing with it and everything. And it's just like I want to work my way up to that because I know I'd love it.
Yeah,
just
it's addictive. It's
fixing
addictive.
everything.
It is.
So, out of what's your favorite pin of all time that you've had? Do you have a favorite that's just that one? Like, oh my god, I just loved it.
Man, I don't know. I go through stages of all these.
Stargate's pretty special to you.
It's pretty special to me. That was our first game. I got rid of that one, and then my wife and I talked about it. We had to have it back,
Yeah.
And so anyway, yeah, Stargate's one I'll never get rid of. There's this piece too that that one's not worth a ton.
Yeah.
It's just not. So I mean, the value of a game kind of sometimes, if I know it's worth a bunch and another game I want's worth a lot, I think, well,
Yeah.
I could get rid of that and get it, but
Yeah.
Stargate wouldn't bring that much money anyway, and I love it. It's so fun. And it's a real polarizing game. People either love it or hate
Yeah,
it.
I
I
agree.
love it. I'm in that camp.
But man, if you read, like, there's just so much, like, that's what's so weird about this. I mean, and I think we talked about it before. It's just that there's something special
Yeah.
about a certain pin to each person.
Yeah.
You can have a top 100 all you
Yeah.
want. And those games can actually be, those are really great games.
Yeah.
But it's not always, the Medieval Madness isn't always
No.
somebody's favorite game. It's something special, whether it's your first game, whether it's just
Right.
something that reminds you of a certain time in your
Yeah.
childhood or something.
Absolutely.
And that's what's so freaking great about pins.
it totally is.
Is that you can't. It's hard to take people's opinions sometimes.
it is.
Because
It
it's
is.
like, oh, that game sucks, and you might end up loving the hell out of
Yeah,
it
I
or
know.
something,
I know.
or that game's so good and it could be a turd and you'd hate it.
Yeah, Adams was like that a little for me. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a classic game. Okay, it's great, and there's so many good things about it. The theme is awesome. It really shoots pretty well. But I played it, and I was playing this game, and you can shoot the middle ramp and do so much with that, and then shoot that scoop.
Yeah.
And really, that's a lot of touring the mansion and
Yeah.
getting huge points.
It really
And
is.
it was kind of like once I figured out that exploit, I'm like, oh, it's kind of a letdown. So Adams got kind of old fast to me.
And I think
Even though
Adams
it's a classic.
it's a good game. It's a game that people, I think, get enamored with
Yeah.
when they first get into pinball and
Absolutely.
stuff. But I think for long time players and collectors, it's not. It's like you said. It's actually kind of shallow. In a sense.
Yeah.
But it's still popular and it's still fetching a ton of money.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and like the movies weren't that popular. No, the TV show
really.
and stuff was pretty big. And I don't. It's a pretty game.
You know what? I think it's a game that like Pat Lawler just absolutely he nailed it. He nailed the theme, and I think Chris Granner did the music. Chris is another one of my favorite music guys in pinball. They just nailed it. The theme is awesome. I mean, how they put it together.
Yeah, very much.
It has
so.
a lot of personality. It has a lot of cool gimmicks.
Yep. I think the sounds and stuff on it, some of the best.
Awesome.
Like you said, integrate. Like it fits so well on all that.
And as much as I'm talking all these highly about it, I'd probably never have another one.
Yeah.
It's an expensive game, and just to me the depth was kind of.
Well, that's the thing. Is it's not a $5,000-$6,000 game to me. It just doesn't have.
Isn't. No.
Yeah.
Half that maybe.
Yeah.
I would jump again maybe.
Yeah.
But,
Tron's
one I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah. Well, and I don't blame you at all. Like. Hougie had some people over. I come over to his house and played some pins. It was the first time I'd ever got to play Tron, and I was blown away by the pin because it seems like there's not a lot to do, but it's something that captivates. It is. It's strategic. It's very strategic about the way you play it, and the shots are. Some of them are kind of tough. The gym shot, like everything's just.
Oh yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, you just fall in love with it.
Yeah,
it's so neat.
It's one of those one more game games.
Yeah.
You hit that button again because when you make it to end of line.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's such a rush.
Is it?
Your heart's pumping. And it's great. End of line's such a.
That's what makes a good pin. Man.
It really
it's
does.
A good wizard.
And right when you're within that grasp, you just can't quite reach it.
Yeah.
Iron Man was like that a little too, but I think they nailed the theme better in Tron.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree.
It's a
yeah,
lot more
Tron,
personality.
It does for sure.
And it flows better too. I like all the combos.
Yeah.
Making the left ramp, the Quora shot, the right ramp, and then if you could shoot between the pops, that loop, and then hit the ramp again. That's just like I can't remember what combo.
It's kind of open. It doesn't seem like there's that many shots, but it is. It's full of.
Oh, it's full of shots. Yeah,
full of it.
And the gym shot's not impossible. People talk about that, but honestly, I can hit that on the fly a lot now. I've played it enough. It's not that bad.
So speaking of games that let people, like when we were talking about games that people love for no, odd reasons and everything else, is there a game that you love that everybody hates?
Oh gosh, yeah, not Shadow. Stargate would be the closest.
It's very close,
because
I love it too.
Not everybody hates it. A lot of people really like that.
The very first time I'd ever talked to Hougie was he had his Spider-Man for sale, and I wrote him about it, and he was like, "Hey, I got this and everything." I saw his collection. I was like, "What do you want to get rid of that Stargate?" And he's like, "No, that's not really for sale." Because I love it. Like I don't know why either. Like it's just a game that's something. The movie was cool. Like it's a lot of multi-balls, but it's still just something fun about the game.
The shots are really cool.
Yeah,
the shots are really cool, and in terms of like
the ramps are tough.
I was gonna say the ramps are hard too. The flippers feel weird, and I think that draws a lot of the hate. The Gottlieb system. I think that's the system 3.
They almost feel weak, but they make everything.
Right. Yeah, they don't have the snap that Williams flippers or Stern flippers have.
Yeah.
But in terms of like what you get, somebody the other day was talking about Dialed In, and you get what you pay for. That's a lot of money for that game.
Yeah.
I don't know about getting what you pay for. But anyway, this game in terms of like what you get, this is like a super LE to today's standards. I mean, I feel like Gottlieb, they knew they were going down and they just wanted to go down in flames and throw it all at it.
It's probably arguably one of their best games. Really.
Yeah, I've heard almost everybody say it's the best Gottlieb solid state. You just have so many loops and shots and the ramps, and you have the pyramid that opens up. If you're a toy person at all, it's crazy. It's filled with stuff. So I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty incredible.
I gotta find one.
I'm so amazed that it gets so much hate.
Yeah, I am too. Like it's fun. Every time I play it, it's fun. It's never.
I love it.
They had one at Eastern Bowling Lanes, and I used to go there and play it. And they shut it down. So that I was like, oh my god, I don't get my start. I don't get my fix of Stargate.
And that wasn't even a pretty one.
It wasn't that bad. There was a little bit of wear and a couple different things. I even gave them my number. I was like, because they didn't own it. Somebody routed there, and I was like, "Can you give me put me in contact with him? Just give him my number, because I'm gonna throw an offer to him for it." And
you should.
I never did hear anything. They never wrote me back. So vice versa, is there a pin that you love or that you hate that everybody loves?
Well, I don't know, man. Adams would be the closest. I've talked about that a lot, but probably a lot of people. But I mean, you have a lot of players and collectors that say the same thing I did. Once you figure it out, it's just all the magic's a little bit gone. And I would say, for me, I'm not the world's greatest player. And I don't even play in tournaments or anything. But a decent player.
Yeah.
Once I kind of master that, it just loses a little bit of its magic. And I know
Yeah.
Tails would be that way.
Yeah.
I know it would. Tails is one of the easier games too.
I think it's a lot of games, unless you got something like Lord of the Rings or Simpsons or something.
yeah.
Like I think a lot of games, when you get to a certain level of playing ability, that you kind of conquer a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's just you either got to have a good sized collection to
Right.
keep you interested and
think
back
so.
and forth, or it's just got to be a really tough game like that.
Yeah.
Like I think anything can almost get old, but. I agree with Adamson, man. Like, it was one of my number one pins when I got
right.
that. And
I
Spider-Man
had
was
it.
my two favorite pins when I got into pinball.
Yep.
I was like, I want it. But then the more that I played it, as like you said, kind of dropped lower on my list of things to
I know
buy.
it.
Now Spider-Man's still up there, and people say Spider-Man, I'll get tired of it, but Spider-Man's still up there. I guess theme, I don't know what.
Yes and no. They nailed the theme on Spider-Man too.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like the films.
It
It
does.
really does.
Yeah.
The shots feel so good. I don't know. I got rid of Spider-Man to get Iron Man. I don't know if I regret that. All in all, I probably liked Spider-Man better.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I still had that. And my son really liked it, so I felt kind of bad about
Yeah.
that one. But Spider-Man's one I would own again for sure.
Yeah.
I did make Superhero. I made it to Superhero.
Oh
game,
man,
which is hard.
yeah.
But I only did that one time, and
You remember your top score on it?
nah, it was in the twos.
Oh.
I don't think I broke 300. I want to say like 280 million or
Still-
something. It's still a decent
Pretty
score.
good, yeah.
Pretty high score. And anyway, so that was, I don't know. I really loved it too.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, see, I'm
need to own that
gonna have
one.
to get it. So Pinball just
Yeah.
happened
Okay.
recently, replay.
Yeah.
Is there any expos that you go to or anything that's your interest?
It's weird. I would love to go out and do some of these other ones. My day job is a teacher, and we have two young kids. We have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. My wife works full time. I always feel a little guilty about doing any kind of major travel for pinball.
Well, and the closest really to us, I guess, is Louisville.
Well, there's the Louisville
obviously.
Arcade Expo, and I've taken games to that.
Yeah,
But
and probably Chicago.
yeah, I haven't gone to Chicago yet, and I really want to.
Yeah.
That's one. One year it was on my fall break for school.
Oh,
I'm a school teacher, so I was
yeah.
like, oh yes, and then I can't remember why I couldn't go, but.
Well, that's the hard thing. Is like family. It's one thing or the other. Work or family that kind of gets in the way of a lot of stuff. 'cause-
And you know what? That's okay.
Yeah,
That's
it
okay.
is.
My wife and I talk about that.
Yeah.
The kids, I'll be upstairs getting things ready for dinner, and I'll hear boom, and the games turn on, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, that's so cool. My daughter will play a lot of Centipede, and Eli will wind up playing a lot of Whitewater.
Well, and that's what I was telling Huggy. I was supposed to go to replay. I was like, we talked about it on our video stuff, and then I misjudged the start of school,
Right.
and so our kids got into school the week of Pinball, and it screwed up my entire plans there. But it's like you say, this is one of those things. I had a buddy who was like, man, aren't you upset? Aren't you so mad you didn't get to go to that? I'm like, no, it's life. It's family. Like if it was anything else that got in the way, it might be a little upset.
Right.
But it's family, man.
If
It's kids and
I don't see
Life.
me. I don't see me leaving the hobby in 15 or 16 years. When
Yeah.
they're going to college and they're somewhere else, my wife and I are one of them we get into. We may do some road trips, and
Yeah.
that's fine.
yeah.
That will be perfectly fine then.
Yeah, shows are fun. I haven't been to a lot, but I like them. But sometimes they're overplayed. You play so much, like
I was gonna say I play so much at home.
yeah,
I'm weird like this too. I don't love standing in lines anyway,
Uh-huh.
and it's like go stand in line 6-7 people deep and only
Yeah.
play one round, and then have to go to another game, and I don't know.
I was kind of nervous about that at replay with it being such a big show,
Yeah.
whether or not that I was even going to get much gameplay because Louisville can get kind of backed up.
It can get very
as
backed
small as it is
Yeah.
and everything. And I'm kind of like, am I going to regret spending that money to go up there? But it was touted to the wife as a good getaway for us and
you go.
everything. So that's the only way I worked that in.
Well, I wound up, with me anyway, it shows. I wind up just talking to a bunch of people I know.
Yeah,
You
you
I'll
don't
run
even
into-
play it. It's like-
I know you last time I went, but I mean, if I ran into you, we'd chat.
Yeah.
I'll run into Indie Pin.
Yeah.
It's like I'll see Cause.
Yeah.
All these guys I'll run into, and we'll
Yeah.
just chat for a long time.
It turns into like a social.
Yeah, it's more of a social
bit,
thing.
yeah.
And you know what? This sounds weird, but to look at everybody so excited and playing all those games, that kind of fires me up. In
Yeah.
a way, I
Yeah.
look around like, hey, this is a cool hobby I'm a part of. Look
Yeah.
how many people are excited about it.
It is.
So I mean, the playing aspect of these expos is Very small.
I agree.
I met
I
Dirty
agree.
Donnie last year and chatted with him forever.
Yeah.
We had a good
Well,
talk.
yeah, it's people you don't really
cool.
get to see, or people. It's just like I've never seen a hobby where people are so enthusiastic about
Yeah.
it, and so most people are so generous. There's still people
what,
out
there's
there
a
that
ton
are
of
rude,
people
but
that are. And I think the guys that are trying to make all the big money on it or whatever, or kind of giving people the runaround and
Yeah.
maybe taking money in a way.
Yeah.
Those guys can make the hobby seem bad.
Yeah.
And even people dog on Pinside sometimes
Yeah.
about how negative things are. Pinside isn't all negative. It's the negative loudmouths that do kind of overshadow things sometimes. But if you look, really the guys that are nasty on there, or the guys that I've met, it's such a small part of it.
it is
You know,
very.
there's
small.
only like a handful of guys that are really kind of buttheads on Pinside.
Yeah, but they interject themselves into so many different threads. It seems more vast
Yeah.
than what it is.
I have like 2,000 posts and they have like 20,000 posts.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like-
exactly.
So I think the
Yep.
silent majority is really probably the nicer
Yeah.
people.
Well, that's what I told my wife. Like, when I got, because like one of my first experience, because I went long into pinball when I looked at your Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was like, this guy invited me over. He was like, hey, he goes, if you want to take a look at it, I'm having some guys over to play some pinball. You can stop by and take a look at it and hang out. And I was like, that's crazy. Like I don't even know this guy. And he was like,
Yeah.
hey, you want to come over and play pinball? My wife's like, ain't that weird? And I was like, it is kind of weird. But as the further longer I was in the hobby,
Yeah.
I found myself doing that. Like, if I
know.
went to look at a game or something, I'm like, hey man, if you want to stop by and check this game out that I
Yeah.
got, stop by anytime and play it
Right.
and everything. And you just find, because Tony was the same way
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
me. He was
Super
like,
nice.
I went to buy a game from him, and he was like, "You want to see this and that?" And we started
Yeah.
talking, and then same thing with Indie Pin.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Larry was just like the
Super
exact same
nice
thing.
guy.
Yeah, didn't know him. He's like, "Man, just come over, and we'll do it." And I'm like, it's a hobby.
I love that about it.
I do, yeah, I do. I absolutely love it. Like it was weird at very first,
Yeah.
But then you find out that people are just passionate, and it's the passion and it's the love of pinball, and you just want to share it. Like you want to talk and have fun and play, and there's not a hobby like it. Like car guys aren't like that. I
No.
don't think as much. Like
No?
I love like it's like can't explain it.
Well, I think it's a social thing too.
Mhm.
The social aspect of playing pinball is exciting.
Yeah,
I remember, pinball's not a nostalgic thing for me.
yeah,
I'm in my late 30s, but there was pinball around when I was a kid. But honestly, it would take my money, and
Yeah.
I
That's
could,
the way I
I could
was.
last longer in Street
Yeah.
Fighter 2. So
Yeah.
I would play fighting games and stuff like that in the arcades.
Yeah.
But it's that whole atmosphere, that arcade atmosphere, that was so cool.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I agree.
loved it, and this brings back some of that for me. Like I said, even though I didn't play a lot of pinball, hardly ever.
yeah.
I really love that aspect of pinball.
Well, it's
And-
good,
and
clean
the-
fun. I mean, it's
Exactly.
like what else? I mean, what are you gonna have people over to do any other time?
I know.
It's like it keeps people occupied. There's no downtime. You
Yeah.
can socialize all you want. You can skate a little bit, play a game,
Yeah.
go back. Like there's nothing like it for sure.
Well, it's something weird that I see. People talk about how kids just aren't into pinball. That's total garbage. It's total garbage. I brought that quick draw. I brought that EM to school. Before one of our concerts, and the students wanted to play that every single time we had a ball game.
And of all things,
Yeah,
an
I know.
old EM like quick draw.
One kid was like, I had this Xbox One I just got. Are you interested in that? Maybe I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
Was it you that I was talking? I was talking to somebody recently. It might have been you over at Larry's.
Yeah.
I was talking about. I was like, they keep saying like, oh, virtual reality and all that stuff. The way the VR is going to kill pinball. It's going to put the damper on. But I don't think so. I think kids are such in an overload with the graphics are only going to get so good on
Right.
Xbox, everything, and then it becomes the norm, and you look for something different. Whereas when we were kids, like we saw the progression
Oh, we totally
so
did.
rapidly that Xbox and stuff grabbed us.
Yeah, it sure
Whereas
did.
I think kids are going to go back and they're going to kind of ditch some of that and
think so.
be into this stuff. It's a different hobby. It's a different feel than what they're growing up
Totally
with.
agree. I'm telling you, I had so many kids tell me, that pinball. They were like, "This is just so great. When can
Yeah.
we have another time where we can play it? And I could even use it as a reward time.
Yeah.
Like if you guys kill it on this test, I'll give you you can have a little tournament.
Oh, that's awesome.
They thought it was so great. And we've had young kids over playing with our kids, and the adults wind up standing around talking, and
Yeah.
the kids are down here blowing up the games.
Well, what's nice about it too is like the social aspect. Like we're so removed on Xbox or anything else. You're socializing, but
Yeah.
you're across the country, across the
Yeah.
state, seas. So you don't have that personal interaction. Facebook, everything else. This is a hobby that it's interaction with another.
Yeah.
The social interaction together.
Yep.
You know, you're not separate, and I think that's something that people is lacking these days. That people are gonna want and feel. That's gonna be the nostalgia of 20 years from now. Is like social interaction, together, like right there.
Social interaction.
Yeah,
I agree,
it's
you
going
know.
to be the nostalgic thing. I remember when we were kids and we used to talk in person. Right. You know, that's going to be the nostalgia.
Well, there's a draw to it, you know.
Yep.
Going out and just meeting up with some friends and playing and whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just I think it's what movie is it? Where one of the guys is talking about that. One of the pinball movies. Oh man, help me out. What are a couple of them?
Special when lit.
Yeah, Special When Lit. There's one of the guys that ran an arcade talking. I think it was Tim from Pinball Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was talking about how.
I think I remember
families ate at home and then would go out for their evening activities.
Yes.
And I mean,
And now it's vice versa.
right, it's totally flipped.
Yeah.
You know, and I wonder if we won't see that really coming back.
Yeah.
You know, being a big, because my wife and I talk about that. You know, and just buying the kids stuff versus going and having an experience.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the experience piece, you know, that's gonna start coming. I think it'll start coming back.
I agree with
really
you.
Do. I think we're moving that direction.
Yeah, and I hope
And
so.
this is a big. I think this is a part of it.
I do too. And really, I mean, it seems expensive dropping, because some games are $1, some people have them at
That's
$1.
true.
But really, man, if you take the price of a movie, you can go play pinball for a few hours.
Oh, yeah.
You know, 50 cents or a
for
buck.
less,
If
probably.
you give for decent, and have a good time.
Right.
And there's more interaction than just sitting there. So it's kind of one of the cheaper things to go do
know.
now is go to an arcade or something, which is nice. But
That's exciting. It's cool to see that happening.
yeah, I agree. Well, I appreciate it, Jason. Thank you so
you, Greg.
much. Guys, this has been Jason, a.k.a. Hougie. And again, thank you so much for letting us in and do the interview, man.
Cool.
Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. And I will be streaming, hopefully, shortly on Twitch. So check us out there. And we'll see you guys later.
Headed off with the bumper knife straight down the middle again. You had a fling with a slingshot, you're rolling out the outlet again. I tried to cradle you with my flipper, it was all in vain.
We got so much bad noise in half our videos with garage and everything.
Oh,
Zach's
sure.
garage just echoes. You ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.